Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first episode of Professionals in Steubenville Area. My name is Jacob Christian, and today I'm here with James Lash from Cedar One Realty.
Hi, Jacob. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for taking extra time to speak with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we're going to get straight into this. So we're talking about professionals in Steubenville area, and you're a realtor. You do a lot with real estate. So can you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Yes. So I am a real estate broker and also an auctioneer. I'm licensed to sell real estate in the state of Ohio and West Virginia. I am also licensed to do auctions in the state of Ohio and West Virginia. Along with that, I also do a little bit of real estate investing as well.
So you do a lot with realty. Like, what motivated you to pick realty?
So, realty was never my first choice in life. I think a lot of young people have a lot of different options and choices of what they want to do when they're younger. But what really motivated me in life was my upbringing. We grew up very poor. We didn't have a whole lot. And I just knew that was not the lifestyle I wanted. I wanted to have a successful lifestyle. I wanted to have nice things. I wanted to have a good career. I wanted to be successful. So that's what really motivated me to get out here.
So you mentioned that you grew up poor. So how did you get from poor to where you are today?
So I think if you would ask any entrepreneur that, they're going to tell you a lot of the same thing: hard work and dedication. Growing up, my father died very young. My mother got very ill when I was a senior in high school. So I knew at a young age I was going to have to help take care of her and help take care of my younger sister. So when I graduated high school, I put into full gear. I went and got a job. I worked full time. I worked 50 hours a week. I went to college full time, and I just really grinded out. I was working on a political science degree in hopes of getting a job in federal law enforcement. I was working for a security company at a hospital, and I did that for many years.
So you mentioned security at a hospital. Now you're a realtor. How did that transition?
So while working at the hospital and working for the security company, I seen the people that own the security company. I would see the executives, the doctors at the hospital, and I saw the lifestyle they had. I saw the the material, the nice things they had, and I realized that's what I wanted in life. And I also realized that a career in law enforcement would never really sustain that kind of a lifestyle. So I really sat down and I thought about what could I do with my life that could sustain that kind of a lifestyle. And that's when I changed my career path from federal law enforcement to business. And I went and I started business classes.
So you mentioned that you changed the business. How did this play out for you?
So changing the business worked out really well. I still stayed at the hospital while working on the business degree. And during the course of that, I ended up giving this nurse a parking ticket, and she wasn't very happy about her parking ticket. She confronted me about it. Me and her had a really long conversation about her parking ticket. And then at the end of our conversation, I come to find out her husband owned a real estate brokerage, and he was looking for an intern. And so somehow I got an interview for this internship. She helped me get the interview for the internship.
So she got out of the parking ticket for an internship.
No, she didn't really get out of the parking ticket.
She still got the ticket.
She still got the ticket, but I still got the internship. So she was very, very nice.
Yeah.
And we still laugh and joke about it to this day. So when I went for the interview, I went probably within a week after that. He had told me all he really wanted was somebody that knew accounting and knew spreadsheets.
And you were in business school at this time, right?
Yes, I was, and I had just started. So I looked at him, I said, yeah, I know. And in the back of my head, I was like, I'll just figure it out.
Yeah, learn as you go.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I was in the middle of the classes. I'll just figure it out.
And
that's what I did.
Does this bring you, whenever you told him you would figure it out, did that set you more motivated too? I need to figure this out. I want this job.
Yeah, and it's actually going to bring me to a quote I'll tell you about later on. Put a fire in your belly. When you have a fire in your belly, you can do anything.
Exactly. And
it really set me on there.
So you mentioned before that you're in this internship. So how did you play out from an internship to now you're a realtor across Steubenville area?
So as I'm doing my internship, I see all these realtors. I see how successful they are. I see how much money they're making. And I think to myself, if they can do it, I can do it. While I was doing the internship, I still was in college full time, and I was still working at the hospital as well. So I decided to take a little bit of time away from the hospital for a few weeks, and I went to real estate school. And I did that for 6 weeks. I was occupied 7 days a week. I went to real estate school, hospital, college, the internship. I did it all for about 6 weeks. And at the end of that, I picked back up at the hospital, started studying for the exam for real estate, and then I went and took my real estate test and I got my license. Then after that, it's been history. I've been selling real estate. I've gotten more licensures. I've gotten my auctioneer's license. And now I teach the real estate program at Steubenville Big Red as well.
Right. And we're thankful to have you.
I'm happy to be here too.
So now let's go back to like when you mentioned like your internship. I'm pretty sure when you got this internship position, like you had goals. So like what were your goals going into there like compared to how they are now?
So I think goals are very important. I think they're important to every entrepreneur and every business person. I always think you should be working on achieving and setting and changing your goals and making them as big as you possibly can.
There's always room for improvement.
There is always room for improvement. And I always say if you set a big goal, even if you don't achieve it, if you come close to that big goal, you've done very well.
Right. It still puts like fire in your belly like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It puts that fire in your belly. So early on, I had two main goals. The first goal was I didn't want to be poor. I wanted a lifestyle, a successful lifestyle. I wanted to take care of my mother. I wanted to take care of my sister. I wanted to have nice things. And one of my biggest accomplishments was when I bought my dream car, or what I thought was my dream car. I wanted a white Range Rover Sport with a tan interior. And the day I went up to the dealership, I picked it out, drove off the lot in it. I was ecstatic. Then my second goal I had early on was I wanted a name. I wanted to be somebody that people looked up to in the community and respected.
Those goals sound great. So do you think you've accomplished any of them?
I do. I do think I've accomplished them. I still think I can work on a lot of them. There's always room for improvement on them. But I do feel like I have accomplished them and I can move on to other goals that I have now. I would say my biggest goal I have now is just to continue to grow my business and be successful and help other people be successful in any way I can.
And to reach your new goals, or like to continue reaching your goals, you're going to have struggles. So like what's your biggest struggle as like a professional in Steubenville?
So my biggest struggle as a young professional was being financially smart. As I said, I grew up poor, and nobody prepares a person that grows up in poverty, especially a young person, from living on under $20,000 a year to making over six figures in just under 18 months.
Right.
When I started doing that, I was ecstatic. I was spending money like it was water. And it wasn't after a couple of years of living like that, I realized, all the material things that I cared about and wanted, those don't really matter. What matters is being able to sustain and grow a successful lifestyle.
Right.
So once I realized that, I started cracking down. I started being financially smart. I started doing investments. I started saving money. I just really started being financial literate.
So you mentioned that spending money was your hardest thing. Would you consider yourself financially smarter now?
Yes, absolutely I would. I would say I'm probably like 95% better than what I ever was. And after several years of being financially smart, you see a significant change.
So you seem like you've come a long way. You've mentioned your past. You've been through a lot. You grew up basically poor, and now you're living a nice life. So like, who's been your role model through all this? Like, who have you looked up to?
So there's many things that attribute to a business person's success. There's many aspects of business. And I attribute my success to four role models. There's many aspects to business, and there's many things that attribute to success in business.
Right.
And there's probably a lot of people that have played role models in my career in being successful. But looking back on it, I'd say there's probably four key people, two of them from my personal life and two of them from my business life.
Do you mind sharing who they are?
Yes. So the people in my personal life, the first one would be my mother. She really taught me how to work hard, to put in your all, and then she also taught me the only person you can depend on in life is yourself. The second person would be my grandmother. She was always by my side, always pushing me to go the extra mile. Then the two people in my business career, the first person would be the lady who owned the security company I worked for when I was first in college. She was the one that taught me that saying, when you have a fire in your belly, you can do anything. She also taught me how to be firm and to stand my ground in business. The fourth person would be a real estate broker from when I first started real estate. He took me under his wing. He taught me how to sell. He taught me that in business you can still be kind and be successful. He also taught me you can be a shark and still be fair. One of the sayings he always had told me too was never get a big head because everyone is replaceable. So I always think to myself, no matter how good you're doing in business, how successful you are, somebody new can come the next day and take you out. You know, everybody's replaceable. You're only as good as you are that day. So that's why you should always work on being better and continuing to grow.
So those sound like really good role models in your life.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, there's probably a lot of other ones out there, but those really are the four most notable.
So I'm pretty sure there's young aspiring entrepreneurs out in the world. Is there any advice you want to give them?
So yes, absolutely. There are two pieces of advice I can give, not only just to young entrepreneurs, but just really anybody in general. First is, nothing that is worthwhile comes easy. You may get lucky every once in a while, but if you want to achieve big goals and grow, you have to have self-discipline, determination, and hard work. Someone once told me we all have the same 24 hours, and it's up to us how we use it. The first 8 hours is how you get by, how you pay your bills. The second 8 hours is how you pay for all the fun stuff, all the extras. And the third 8 hours is how you get ahead and become wealthy. The last piece of advice I have is be kind and be understanding. You may not agree with them or like their personalities, but if you can understand everybody is different and everybody has different viewpoints, and then if you try to understand their viewpoints and level with them or relate to them, it's going to take you so much farther, and it's going to give you so much more peace. You know, one of my favorite Bible quotes is, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither my ways are your ways." So whenever I'm dealing with somebody that's different or has an opposing personality, I always keep that in mind.
And I'm pretty sure as a professional, definitely as a realtor, you deal with that every day.
Yes, absolutely. I deal with it every day in every aspect of my life, and I always try to keep that in my mind when I'm dealing with people, and it makes it so much more easier.
So, Mr. Lash, you've come a long way. Thank you for taking out your time to speak with us today.
Thank you
for all your key points. Just thank you for everything you do for us and our community. Is there any final thing you want to say to the audience before we get out of here?
Go out there, kill it, and be great.
And exactly, it's a great time and a great day to be great. We look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode of Professional to Student Area. This is Jacob Christian and Realtor Lash.